So normally BJ is the one who makes these kinds of videos, but he's busy groaning over Yokai Watch 3 not being out in the States yet. So he'll be out of commission for the video. That being said, I am here! And character choices for Smash are still abundant. So, Klonoa, a Bandai Namco mascot character who originally debuted on the PlayStation with Door to Phantomile, had a remake on the Wii, and a few spin-off games for the Game Boy Advance where, as a dream traveler, you protected people's dreams from nightmares, having fun, family-friendly moments of beating up the clown henchmen, to dark moments like someone's entire being getting possessed and morphed by the very embodiment of sorrow. Rated for everyone. However, cutesy floof and nightmare fuel can only do so much to make you a fighter. I mean, just ask Kirby. So, let's go over Klonoa the Fighter, starting with his character attributes. Now, contrary to popular belief, Klonoa is not a ripoff of Sonic. He's actually not even known for his speed, so his walk speed and running speed would be relatively average. Maybe slightly faster than Mario, and by slightly, I mean you'd only really notice the difference if they ran side by side next to each other. However, due to being Karsei no Klonoa, his airspeed would be godlike, making him a medium-weight floaty character similar to Lucario but with better air mobility. He'd be capable of double jumping and wall jumping, however, he wouldn't be capable of wall clinging or crawling. His neutral jab would be a 1-2 punch and the final hit be a 180-degree spin as he launches his opponents with his ear floof. His dash attack would be him jumping on his airboard and rushing towards his opponents. The dash attack would cover a lot of distance and the hitbox would be active at the start of the move. However, due to the distance covered, the move would have quite a bit of end lag, so no spamming. His side tilt would be a horizontal swing with his wind sword.
What? Another sword fighter? Are we cursed to forever have too many swords?
Shut up and let me talk. Klonoa's sword swing would cover a bit of range, around Marth's range for his forward tilt. Up tilt would be an overarching swing with his sword, would have decent knockback, have a bit of range, and be used as an anti-air. Down tilt would be a quick swipe at the ground with his ears, which could pop opponents up in the air for a bit to start your combo strings. For Klonoa's side smash, he'd whip out his big hammer. See, he's not just swords. Klonoa would swing the hammer right in front of him, slamming it into the ground, very similar to Dedede's forward smash. This would be Klonoa's hardest hitting attack and KO at very low damage. His up smash, however, would be a heavy swing that goes into the Z-axis. Why this matters is that there are some characters who can utilize the Z-axis to dodge attacks, like Cloud's up air for example. Klonoa's up smash could still hit them. His down smash would be a hammer swing towards the ground, again similar to Dedede. This hammer was one of the many weapons Klonoa could use in the Japanese exclusive Game Boy Advance title known as Klonoa Hero Densetsu no Star Medal, an RPG game where Klonoa's hammer was so strong it could smash treasure chests. For Klonoa's aerials, his neutral air would be a quick front flip, similar to Pikachu's but would only hit once, has no sweet spot, but is much faster as Klonoa would only do one flip. This is in reference to a trick he can do in Klonoa 2 Lunate's Veil if he were shot out of a cannon pressing either trigger buttons. Klonoa's forward air would be a horizontal spin that would hit up to 2 times. Similar to Sonic's forward air, oh boy, here we go, we're planting the seeds! This is another trick Klonoa can do when shot out of a cannon, with the similar methods. The tricks are randomly generated. Klonoa's back air would be a quick horizontal sword swing behind him having a lot of knockback. His up air would be a quick forward to back sword slash upward, similar to Corrin's up air. And his down air is a quick sword swipe below him, similar to Meta Knight's down air, only it can spike its sweet spot. Now let's get into Klonoa's trump card, his grab game. Seeing as Klonoa's whole thing in his games is grabbing opponents, Klonoa's grab would be his most outstanding feature. Klonoa would shoot a wind bullet from his ring that could cover quite a bit of distance, and just like in the games, it would come out fast and return to him just as quickly. After he's hit an opponent with the wind bullet, he would carry them over his head, again just like the enemies he grabs in game. Klonoa would actually be able to walk around while holding enemies like this with the analog stick and only be capable of jumping once. So to throw the enemy, you have to press the A button along with the direction you want to toss your enemy to throw the opponent. If you want to pummel, you have to just press the A button with no control stick input at all. Klonoa will not be able to pummel enemies if he jumps while holding them, so if the A button is pressed while airborne, he will automatically do his down throw. His pummel would be shooting a wind bullet from the ring into the foe's back. His forward throw would be a straight toss like in the game, so it could potentially kill at high damage and at low damage set up for edge guards. Back throw would be the same as forward throw, except Klonoa throws them backwards, as well as turning around in the process, so he can set up for whatever follow-ups he wishes afterwards. Up throw, he shoots a stronger wind bullet into the opponent, sending them high into the air. In down throw, Klonoa throws the opponent into the ground, popping them in the air to set up for combos. These throws can be used in the air if Klonoa jumps, however to keep them from being too overpowered, their knockback is weakened. As for down throw, the opponent will be launched upwards, that way you're not some cheeky little snot endlessly spiking people off into the abyss, followed by sitting in your bedroom wondering why all your friends left you. However, Klonoa can jump off his opponents upon using down throw, very similar to how his double jump works in the actual games, essentially giving him another recovery option. With this grab game out of the way, let's talk about what a special boy Klonoa is, because he's an adorable, floofy cabbit boy who deserves all the love he can get, and his game deserves the time of day. This is where the remainder of Klonoa's weapons would come into use. His neutral special would be the arm cannon. Similar to Bowser Jr.'s cannon, he can charge a shot and send a spike ball at his opponent. The damage and knockback would depend on how long he charges the attack for. And yes, I know he has 2 in the game, but we're limiting it to only 1 because 2 giant spike balls hurling at your opponent at 50 miles an hour would be pretty jank. His side special would be throwing his shuriken. Okay, the game classifies it as a boomerang, but come on guys, that's a shuriken. Klonoa's boomerang can be thrown at quite the distance and returned back to him. However, if you were to press B then hold the analog stick, Klonoa would do a slower swing. The boomerang wouldn't go as far, but it would spin in place for a bit before returning back to Klonoa, effectively becoming a multi-hit move. By pressing side B and immediately pushing the analog stick in another direction, Klonoa can throw his boomerang in multiple directions, very similar to how Mega Man's Metal Blades work in Smash. And I guess you could say that they also work a bit like the Chakram discs that the Mii fighters use, but this move is actually good. His up special couldn't be anything else but his double jump. Yeah, Klonoa can jump twice and his recovery is called double jump. Look, don't look at me, that's what it's called in-game. Klonoa spawns an enemy below him and he jumps off it, shouting "Wahoo!" as he does in-game. Klonoa will get a lot of hype with this, and he would be one of the few characters who can act out of his up special. However, he wouldn't be able to perform another up special unless he gets back on stage, grabs the ledge, or takes a hit. With that said, Klonoa himself would have no active hitbox, seeing as he could act out of his recovery. But the enemy he double jumps off of does have an active hitbox, making his recovery very similar to Sonic's up special. I swear he's an original character. Klonoa's down special would be the Beam Geno, a defensive shield that Klonoa can activate in front of him and would dash a little forward for a tackle. This would be a safer dash attack, but the distance traveled would be minuscule compared to his other dash attack. However, the shield would give Klonoa a special kind of invincibility called shield frames. Think of Palutena's back air and dash attack, where attacks deal no damage, no knockback, and the attack powers through. Do take note, while the beam genome is a shield, it is not a reflector, meaning projectile attacks would only be nullified, and the shield only covers the front of Klonoa, so he's still vulnerable from behind. Rather similar to Pit's original down beam brawl. Klonoa's gimmick isn't anything too outstanding, but it's a great asset to his survivability. In the games, if you hold the jump button after a jump, Klonoa will flap his ears and hover in the air for a little bit, giving him some more airtime. As a fighter, Klonoa would be capable of floating just like that by holding the jump button after a jump. He'd only be able to do this once after a jump, however, this does mean he could do this after a double jump and his recovery. So essentially, you could jump once, hover, double jump, hover again, up special, and hover one more time. This would give Klonoa amazing stage recovery if the opponent doesn't know how to edgeguard it properly. His final smash literally can't be anything else. Klonoa's final smash would be Thunder Hurricane. While it was a super move for Namco X Capcom, Klonoa first utilized this in Klonoa Heroes as a screen nuke special, which he learned from tripping over a wire and getting electrocuted. Don't worry, he's fine. This would be a cinematic finisher that Klonoa would initiate with a sword slash, catching anyone in the attack if they were to get hit. Klonoa then spins around wildly, causing a big windstorm that would result in large lightning strikes hitting the stage, launching anyone the lightning hits. And now we get to the fun part, the Miss Melania section. The one that gives these fighters the most character, and some of them the most memes. Klonoa's stage entrance would be appearing on stage with his best friend Hubo. He raises his ring in the air and shouts, "Hubo, repeat!" which translates to, "Hubo, let's go" in Phantomile. That's when Hubo goes inside the ring in order to power it up. Klonoa does this exact thing in Door to Phantomile when starting a level. Klonoa's up taunt would be him throwing the ring into the air and then catching it. This is an idle animation he's known to do in the games when you leave him alone for too long. His side taunt, Klonoa's friend Hupo appears out of the ring and circles around him, then flies back into the ring. Perfect way for disrespecting those who you star keyed. It's like he's saying, "Dude, you're boring, I'm gonna go play with my childhood friend now. Guns taught you well, you little snot." His down taunt, Klonoa would pull out the moon pendant from Door to Phantomile and be lost in his gaze, then snaps back reality and puts the moon pendant back. However, there's the rare occasion Klonoa will pull out a hamburger, reference to his favorite food, and Klonoa would just eat the hamburger right there. He's a growing boy, leave him alone. And now let's get aesthetic up in here, with his color schemes and possible alternate costumes. This was kind of a tricky one to think about because Klonoa's actually had quite a few designs to choose from. However, it was decided on sticking with just 2 costumes just to keep it consistent with the other fighters. So we stuck with both his iconic blue zipper design and his original Door to Phantomile design, both with their own alternate colors. For the blue zipper design, the white part of his fur are turned yellow, his black fur is brown, with an all-red shirt and gray pants. This is in reference to the character Golden Fleece Guns, a bounty hunter with daddy issues who first appeared in Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament and is playable in Beach Volleyball and Heroes. Oh, and by daddy issues, I mean he died. I mean, last I checked, I think that's an issue. Next would be Klonoa with brown and pale yellow fur with a yellow hat, a white shirt, and orange pants. This is in reference to Baloo, a stonemason from Door to Phantomile who assists you in the final boss fight and has a serious case of getting friend-zoned. Klonoa with orange fur and an all-pink outfit would be in reference to Lolo, a companion character and potential girlfriend from Klonoa 2 who could power the Wind Ring with her priestess power. For the Door to Phantomile costume, Klonoa's first color would be blue fur with a yellow collar, yellow pants, and red eyes. This is in reference to the King of Sorrow, the main antagonist of Klonoa 2. Klonoa with half black and half white fur with a green collar and green pants would be in reference to Tat, another antagonist who worked alongside the Sky Pirate Leorina in Klonoa 2. Why do I say it like that? Well, gee, I don't know. Play the gosh darn fiddly sticking game! Please? And lastly, Klonoa with completely white fur with a red and yellow outfit, pink gloves and shoes would be in reference to Joka, an antagonist from Door to Phantomile who worked alongside the main antagonist Gaudius. For winning poses, Klonoa's first victory pose would be spinning around to create a gust of wind and assuming his usual victory pose, where he crosses his arms, points both fingers, and his ears flow triumphantly. He also shouts, "Padu!" a casual way of saying affirmative in Phantomile. His second victory pose is Klonoa riding his airboard, performs a spin, and ends the pose with a triumphant pop-off as he holds his hat in the air and shouts, "Churapa!" which is Phantomile for thanks. This is in reference to a trick Klonoa can do in Klonoa 2 by pressing either shoulder buttons while on the airboard. The final victory pose, Klonoa does a backflip, fist bumps the air, and shouts, "Repete!" a more casual way of saying, "let's go" in Phantomile. Yes, I know a little bit of what the Phantomile language translates to. Don't be a fanboy of anything, kids. It makes you overextend in places you don't always need to. This is in reference to his intro animation in Klonoa Beach Volleyball. Yes, that was a thing, but only in the UK. And there you have it, Klonoa as a Smash fighter if Bandai Namco were to ever remember this character existed. If you'd like to see a character get Smashified, leave a comment down below or contact BJ at BrawlFan1 on Twit. Thank you for watching, and now if you excuse me, I'm going with BJ in the grown corner and going to cry like a whiny, petulant child.